Welcome to episode 60 of the Ski Instructor Podcast. My name's Dave Burrows and I'm the director and owner of Snowsports Ski School based here in Val d'Illiers in Switzerland. Hope you're all well. It's a beautiful day here in the Swiss Alps. It's the last nice day before we have a period of snowy weather coming through. It'll probably snow, I think, on and off now until Wednesday or Thursday. So that will be a nice top up for the ski area, which it kind of needs. It's been fairly dry for a little while and quite warm for a little while, which is nice. So the tourists love it, it's sort of skiing on the piste and nice sunny terraces and getting a suntan, all that sort of stuff. But the snow will come and it will land on top of an already fairly weak snowpack. Off-piste is a bit sketchy in some places in the Alps, to say the least. That ties in nicely with the topic of this week's episode. So I travelled to meet with Julian Griffiths of European Snowsports, fairly regular voice on this podcast, but he's ski school European Snowsports has lost two ski instructors in the last 3 years to avalanches. And the first was 3 years ago with Matt, and the second was last year with a guy called Joel, and who also lost his friend Joel in the same avalanche. And this has obviously hit Julian fairly hard. It was a very, very hard interview to do, looking at the graphics. This is going to be an audio podcast, but I was sitting there looking at just, the sheer potential that these young guys had, and to see them, not there anymore, it strikes me as such a waste. And so as part of the process of all of this, the police investigation report was given to Julian, and he's going around doing a talk. He's done it in Verbier and Zermatt and various other places. And the idea is to kind of raise awareness of just do a factual presentation of this police investigation report, and to raise awareness of the dangers of skiing off-piste. We touch on that. Well, we very much go through the report, but we touch on a bunch of other areas as well, which I think are particularly pertinent to the way that off-piste skiing is glamorized these days, and the way that modern media promotes risk-taking in essence. So I'm just going to let the kind of the interview essentially introduces itself and goes through it, and you'll hear from me again at the end just to really clarify the ways that if you want this avalanche talk done, and to give to maybe your staff or other organizations, I'll tell you how to get in touch. So I'll leave the interview to run as it is. I hope you all had a lovely Christmas. You got lots of new skis and boots and whatnot. And I wish you a happy new year and all the best in 2024. Here I am in glamorous Verbier. There's snow on the roofs. The ski area looks almost ready, but it's probably not. But it looks ready. It's a bit of an illusion.
It opens tomorrow.
Up at the top, on the lac. And then it won't be long. If it keeps this up, it won't be long till they're skiing down to what, Ruinet?
Yeah, end of November probably. Yeah.
It's a nice place to come at this time of year. Here with Julian Griffiths, again, probably like the 100th time on the podcast, but popular figure. And Julian Griffiths, the big boss man at European Snowsports, monolith of the ski industry in Europe. And he's welcomed me here with his, what is it, a milk spinner? Mm-hmm. The big
nice,
nice milk spinner. So I've got a very frothy coffee. We've got ourselves hyped up on espresso.
We have.
Just in time for
what's going to be a bit more of a serious podcast, I think, because what we're going to do is talk about the fact that you have lost 2 members of staff in 3 years to avalanches.
Yeah.
And we're going to go through a talk that you're going around giving to people, of which I'm really hoping that you're going to come to the Port de Soleil and give to anyone that I can get interested in around our way.
Yeah.
And we're going to go through the investigator's report, and we're just going to talk through this talk that you're given, amongst other things.
So yeah, I run my ski school, and we lost 2 members of staff, and they were not teaching, they were not working in any way, but they were skiing on their own with their friends, and it's such a tragedy, and it's such a thing to go through for their families, for their friends, the rest of the team, for us as their employer, and for the whole resort, really. And during the latest one in March this year, Joel, when Joel was killed, part of the procedure that happens after an avalanche is that the police prepare a report and a presentation which they give to the parents. And in Joel's case, this was his mum and his sister, and we took them along to that. And afterwards, I asked the policeman if he would mind that I shared that report and his mum with other people, so that we could, in his words, sensibiliser, calm people down and try and make them take the off-piste risks more seriously. And maybe by giving that talk, it would help people manage the risk better. So we're a ski school. We have off-piste instructors. We don't do much off-piste. I always encourage people to go with a mountain guide. We don't have an off-piste section. We don't have off-piste is not a personal area of expertise. I'm a ski instructor, qualified all over, and I can take people off-piste. But this is not an avalanche talk from a mountain guide or someone at an avalanche institute. The talk I give is a story of what happened to Joel and what happened afterwards. And I hope that no other ski school, no other ski instructor or colleague or friend of anyone has to go through this. And there are a number of things in there that I go through over in the talk, basic things, mistakes that they made, and information they had or didn't have, which I think is useful for people. So if you're listening and you're doing a season, there's a few things that I touch on in the talk which will help you. There's stuff about what actually happened, and then there's also stuff about the sort of culture in the resort and in teams and amongst friends when they're skiing, and we can touch on all that today.
Before we do that, I'd like to just touch on the individuals, the 3 individuals, in fact, in the last 3 years. So Matt and Joel.
Yeah. There were 2 Joels in the second avalanche.
Yeah.
And they were roommates. They were both from Sweden. And one of them worked for us. And I knew the other one.
Yeah. No, I didn't know the 2 Joels, but I definitely, the news went very quickly through the community about Matt, for sure. You give us a picture of the guys that
I mean, after people pass away, everyone's like, oh, they were lovely. I mean, they were both lovely. I mean, Matt was very nearly 30 years old. I mean, if we had a ski school drinks, he'd be the sort of the centre of it somehow. He'd get everybody going. He played instruments beautifully. He's a great musician. There's an album you can buy online that they've made of his music since. Lovely guy, went to had a singing scholarship and was very musical and had done a bunch of seasons and had taught in our school for 3 or 4 years, I think. Taught many of our clients who still remember him and their children.
Was he based in Verbier? Did he come and go? He was
based in Verbier. Yeah, I actually interviewed him in in Châtel the first time.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I was over there and went. And then I said, "Yeah, come and join us." And he was absolutely brilliant. Lovely guy, guy. And I've got to know his father since, and also a lovely man who's been through obviously the worst thing you can imagine. And
he was drawn here. I'm trying to get a picture.
Yeah,
I'm trying to do because. Yeah, we could do abstract avalanche talks by all means, but we will mean to those. But when I think the thing that just struck me when you just fired up your laptop earlier, it was a picture of Joel.
Yeah,
and both you and I had the same reaction. Because we're a similar age.
Yeah,
and
both have kids. Yeah.
And you just look at it and you think, oh, God damn, that is
such a waste. Yeah,
right, an absolute waste. Because as you get older, I don't know, 40. Whatever I am, but you start to have a realization which you don't have when you're a younger man. Of, like the limitation of time that you have left in your life. I already know that I'm not going to get to do all the things that are on my list, right? Because you run out of time, right? I feel that, and I feel like I wasted a lot of time when I was younger.
Yeah,
and when you look at the young. There is that phrase like youth is wasted on the young, right? Because they run around, they don't really appreciate. And you always have in your life like old people saying to you, "Oh, enjoy it while you're young," because and you just think at the time that whatever, I'm a person, you're just telling me nothing. But I think when you see something like that, you're just like, my immediate thought was, "Oh, that's so sad," because that is a young person who's got the whole life in front of them.
Yeah,
And so it's important to me for this to kind of get to know a little bit behind, what Matt and Joel's were like.
Matt left, obviously, his family behind. Some of his clients had become great friends and took him on holiday in the summer, and their children grieved for him hugely. They go and visit his grave. I've been there as well, and so have some of our team. The funeral was online, which was just horrendous. It was in the COVID time. And it's my position as someone's boss. You might be friends with them, but you're also their boss, and you're not. So it's sort of. It's to see all the different people grieving, and it's just horrendous, and an erroneous approach, one small decision, freaky snow conditions, all of these things which you can control most of them. It goes wrong, there's an avalanche, and then you die. Vis-a-vis the high, or vis-a-vis the plus of what you're doing, is it worth all that? I don't know if it is. Matt, brilliant guy. Joel, lovely, much younger, second season with us.
Okay.
He was really nice, a little bit shy, I'd say, but he sort of came to me and he was like, is there anything I can do to help? He was ambitious, and he was
Swedish.
He was Swedish, yeah, and. So I said, okay, why don't you... I gave him a little job to do, and I said, ski round the mountain, visit all the restaurants, take pictures of the menus, and assemble them into a little PDF that we can give to the instructors. So when they're on the mountain, they can talk to their clients and go, vegetarian options over here are as follows. They can know a little bit. It'll just be a useful tool to have on the WhatsApp group. And he did that, and he put that together, and he sent it to me. And so he was sort of, you could tell he was keen, and he was a lovely skier, and he was heading towards his full cert, and you could tell he was a guy who was probably going to be a ski instructor for a while. He absolutely loved it, and he loved skiing and free riding and all of those things. And he was in what we have here in Verbier, which is just like any resort. It's a Swedish community, and they come here. Some of them come to teach skiing, but mostly they come to free ride.
Yeah.
So doing what he was doing, and They're incredible skiers, the Swedes. You know, they've got a history of it. They're fantastic free riders. And in the resort, there's a long tradition of Swedish skiing in the Alps. And they hang out with each other, they ski with each other. Quite a lot of Swedes have been killed over the years.
Right.
I've given my talk now once in Zermatt, just afterwards, which was actually very touching. And I booked a meeting room and invited the other schools, and they came and gave the talk. And at the end, Paul from Summit came up to me and said, "I've paid for the meeting room," which he didn't need to do, but that was really kind. And it has an impact, I think, as you know, you give it. And I think now at the beginning of the season, if we can make people think twice, or you know, and be more sensible, then it's got to be a good thing. Yeah, I mean, Joel, a lovely guy, a quieter team member. You know, Matt was much more calm. So he's older, you know, self-assured, played music. Joel played music.
A lot of ski instructors are musicians.
Yeah, it's true. You know, and his funeral was in Sweden, and his uncle, which was actually his dad's best friend, picked me up from the airport and drove me to his house, his summer house, where I met his wife. And Joel had called his wife the morning of the Avalanche, which was her birthday, and had played her a song on his guitar over the phone from the laundry room of his apartment block. So, you know, just like to sort of happy birthday for her, you know. And then you'd gone out that day and skied, and the night before he'd been playing, there were two Joels killed that day, roommates. Yeah. The night before, they'd gone out and they played pool, and they had been drinking with a few beers with two of our other instructors. You know, they were both at the funeral with me, and they'd said, "Do you want to come out with us tomorrow?" And those two had said no. And they then got the two Joels went out, you know. Really,
How
really
old was
tough.
Joel?
He was 24.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe 23, just about to be 24. Yeah. He was younger than Matt. Yeah. And he worked in Sweden, and comes from near Gothenburg, beautiful area.
Yeah.
You know, it's it's tough.
And so, after all that had passed, to take you back to where we were, you got a copy of the investigation report from the police, and you've turned this into the talk that you want to give to various places. I'm very keen to have you to come to the Port de Soleil and present it to our guys and anyone else in any of the other schools that are interested in it.
I've given the talk in Verbier. A lot of his friends there, and we got the Swedish skiers to come, and once in Zermatt and once in Stockholm. At a pre-season gathering of instructors there in a club. So, and that was good. They were all super young, and you know, hopefully it made an impression. Not left a good impression, but it's not all, you know, tragedy. But it is you know, hopefully it focuses them in on the problem. A little bit the problem with, I'm going to say Sweden, but it's actually also skiers from the UK and other places, is that when you come, especially in Sweden, like I made this point in Stockholm, and I said, look, when you get off the aeroplane in Stockholm, there's a rope. You know, you go to Luton, you just get off the plane and you walk to like a little grey like council door on the side of the airport. But in Sweden, they have like rope barriers to take you all the way to the door. Right. It's all super safe. Yeah. They drive slowly. They're very sensible by nature. You know, we've all been stuck behind them somewhere on the roads, and so they're naturally a very cautious country, and they're naturally sensible, and they're reliable, and they're you know, they're great to people. But when they come here and they're young, wow, they let loose. Yeah. And the mountains in Sweden, you know, are very different. Yeah. So they get here, they want to let go, they want to have a drink, they want to just go loose. Same a little bit for the Brits that come
Same
out,
thing.
you know, and also for the Australians, because there's a risk when they come here, because they're used to skiing in the States, and there are barriers around the resorts, and it's all safe inside the boundary, and here it's not. So
let's expand on that a little bit, just in case for those that don't know. So where
boundary
is boundary, right? Like it's liability in essence. You know, if you there are out of bounds areas, as I understand it, in the US. I don't know if it's the same in Canada or not, but here and in France and Europe in general, I think it's at your own risk. So if you decide to drop into that couloir, it hasn't been controlled, it hasn't been bombed, it's not declared safe by the peace patrollers. It is what it is, and it's like buyer beware. You know?
I mean, they talk in. Some people used to say in Chamonix that you would send. You know, it's like sending the Swedes used to wear yellow back in the day. A lot of them, and there's a yellow kind of colour, you know, theme for the country. So throw down you don't put a canary down a coal mine. You send a Swede down to see if it's going to avalanche.
Oh my God!
That's what they used to. That's what they used to say. And there's a Swedish couloir here. Yeah, some Swedes were killed, and it's below a track coming back to the resort, and you look down there, and there's always just this most perfect bowl of steep powder, and nobody skied it. So here we go. Lesson number 1: if there's a big area of powder, and you're looking at it going, "Oh, that looks nice,"
especially in Verbier, right?
And nobody skied it. Ask yourself why they haven't skied it. You know, that's because there's a problem. There's a risk. You can't get out the bottom or whatever. You know,
you'd be a very rare person if you got first tracks anywhere in Verbier, right? Like,
exactly.
Everyone knows everything.
Yeah, and it's all gone within minutes. You know, if you want powder, go somewhere flat in the east of Switzerland or in Austria, and
whatever you do, don't come to the Swiss side of the Porte de Soleil. There's definitely no untouched powder.
Within minutes. Yeah. And that's that in a sense is the problem, because it gets tracked so quickly. To get the fresh tracks, you then have to go further and further and
earlier than you would normally want to go. Right.
Yeah.
You know, no one waits anymore.
No.
What was the old phrase? The whole phrase used to be, "Give them out in a day for the snowpack to settle down." But no one does that anymore, and I think we're going to touch on that later with regards to media. Which no one wants to see the media pics of you skiing something that 20 other people have skied. They want to see fresh tracks, but you can only get fresh tracks if you don't wait.
Yeah, I mean, it used to annoy me when I see people posting pictures of bad skiing, but now when I see them posting pictures of people,
just doubly annoyed.
Now they're off piste and they don't have a backpack, or they're doing something, or they're shoaling. I mean, you know, it's like happens. So we'll come back to that, I guess.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. So let's go through. I mean, obviously, you're not going to have the visual of this, but I think we're good enough with words that we can explain.
Yeah, so
what we do.
So I mean, it's a factual. The police report part is a factual report that they pulled together. So, I mean, if I talk about it briefly from my perspective, and then we go sort of into the police side of it. I was actually away for that day. I was in London with my son. We were in Borough Market in the south of the river, and I get a call from Laura, and it's like, we've had a call from the police, Cantonal. They won't tell me anything, and they're asking about Joel, and then you just know, you know, and that's awful. And then they ring back and they confirm, and then you can't tell anyone because you don't really know until you've been told, and that you can't officially be told before his family have been told.
Of course, yeah.
But of course, people in the resort know. Yeah. People are involved in the rescue. People are friends with the helicopter guy or the patroller or the guy that didn't get caught, whatever. So the rumour goes around, and then it just goes nuts in the resort. And at some point, then that afternoon, we draft a message to our staff, and then we then meet them the next day, and the whole thing starts, and everyone's super sad. And but these guys in the police, what they do is they got there pretty quick, and this is what they show the parents. So they start off with a map of Switzerland and where it happened, and then a slightly more detailed photography map. And for those that know Verbier and know where this happened, we have the main part of Verbier, and then we have opposite a smaller ski resort called Brusson.
Okay.
And Brusson essentially on the front side, so the side that faces Verbier.
Yeah.
The skier's right has a large bowl.
Yes.
And the lift's coming up here, and then you can ski into that bowl. It's off piste, and you can ski down through the forest back to the lift.
Okay, so so where it says Brusson there, and it goes up. That's the main Brusson lift that comes up from Le Char.
Exactly, and then there's another one there, a new chairlift now, which comes up.
Okay.
And then
what they would hack across into that bowl.
They'd come along here. There's actually another. They have to go over the back.
Yeah.
Then they come back up here on a T-bar. And then they skied this bowl here. Now we'll come to a slightly better map. A little bit later.
It's pretty descriptive, that map.
Yeah, and I've got some maps on my presentation with the exact pitches and aspects and stuff. So and then they showed this, which is a kind of piece map. And the heartbreaking thing when you're going through this, and you know the area where I live here, and is seeing just how little the parents know or understand about what it was or where it was or what he was doing. And they're obviously totally drenched in tragedy, and it's just heartbreaking. And then
what am I looking at in that picture?
You're looking at the piece map of Brusson. And, you can see that it was here that.
What's that there?
It's a forest.
What's this little sign?
Oh, it's just a sign about the rules of going in the forest.
Oh, okay. Is that like a nature zone or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And then this is the Avalanche report that they may have read or may not have read.
Okay, so avalanche danger that day was 3.
3, but it was actually. We'll come to that in a second. It was actually above 1,200 meters. It was a 4. So where the avalanche actually happened, it was a 3. Where they skied into it, it was a 4.
Okay.
So basically, and here we can see, look, the avalanche danger there. You can see this little symbol here on the report, and this is available every day.
Yeah, yeah.
And you see it says E 2,200 with black above it.
Yeah.
That means degree 4 above 1,200 meters.
Yeah.
Okay.
1,200 or 22.
1,200. So, if we look at this map here slightly, you can see actually where it says Le Pays in there, that's where it happened.
Yeah.
Okay. And that contour line there is 1,200 meters. So it started.
So these guys were avalanche at 1,200 meters.
It was level 4 above 1,200 and level 3 below. It doesn't really make any difference.
No, for sure. I'm just trying.
I mean, it was a level 4 day.
Yeah.
And as such, we sent out warnings to all the staff that day, telling them about the risk.
Level 4 is pretty. I mean, that's.
Yeah.
No, level 5 is resort closed.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean,
4 is like as much as you can get without it being shut.
What people don't understand is that the avalanche risk scale is not just for skiers.
Yeah.
It's also for villages and for transport.
Yeah.
And so on. And when it gets to 5, then roads and so on are in danger.
Yeah.
You can see here, these are the pictures the police put in there of the conditions. So that was like an hour or 2 after the avalanche. So it's broken cloud. Mm-hmm. We have the footage from their GoPros.
Oh no!
Yeah, so we could see them skiing, not the avalanche, but just before that.
Oh my God.
So we can see that, what they were doing, how the weather was, what the snow was like.
And what was it?
One of them was on a snowboard. One of them was skiing. Our Joel was skiing. The other Joel was.
It was overcast,
kind of grey, a kind of grey day. The snow wasn't that cold. It was kind of warming. You could see the little balls of snow rolling away below their tracks, and that was the view, and that was in the afternoon, the same day.
Okay, and this is one of those days where the cloud cleared off.
This is the top of the T-bar here.
Right.
So they came up this 3 times, and it was something like I'm gonna try and from memory guess the exact details of this, but it was something like 12:13. They got on the bottom of that T-bar.
And they were just sessioning this bowl, right?
Yeah, they go up the chairlift, down to the T-bar, up the T-bar, then down through the whole bowl. They did it once.
Mm-hmm.
They did it again. Yeah. We kind of guess at that because that's the only information that the police had was where their lift passes was used on which lifts at what time. So I think from memory it was 12:13 that they caught that lift. Mm-hmm. The guy that found them caught the lift at something like 12:22.
Okay.
So 10 minutes later, he was behind them on his own.
Yeah.
Bonkers, but
doing the same bowl.
Same bowl
on his own.
Same bowl on his own. Yeah.
On a 4-day.
Yeah, the guy that found him. Yeah, but he was obviously doing a slightly different route. I mean,
but still.
Yeah, and then that final photo there, you can see the bowl that they skied out into.
Okay, so that looks like
so it's kind of
many different bowls that I've seen in the Alps.
Exactly.
It's like wide open powder fields.
Yeah, and then here you can see another view looking further across, and you see a great big treeless bowl.
Yeah.
And then at the edge of the bowl, you can see it gets steeper the further along you go.
Yeah, further around.
And then at the end there are some trees.
Yeah.
And that's where it happened, right there, just inside those trees.
Those trees, so trees don't really go above an altitude of what?
1,200.
Yeah?
That's 1,200, yeah.
Okay, that's 1,200, top of those trees.
Exactly, yeah. So you can see the trace there, and this photo is slightly zoomed in.
Yeah.
You can see from a fairly oblique angle the path of the avalanche there. So
it started in the trees.
You can see these tracks here?
Yeah.
Those are their tracks.
So they've gone into the tree line.
They've gone to this ridge here. Yeah. So what we're looking at here is just the beginning of the tree line. So sparsely placed trees. It's the edge of a bowl, so it's steeper at that edge.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they're on their third run now.
Yeah. The snow is warming up.
The snow is warming, and it's quite heavy. We've seen that from the GoPro footage. They're having a great time.
Before we go any further on this, we're sounding. I'm not saying we're not. I don't think we're sounding critical yet.
No.
But I think it's easy to be wise after the event, right? Okay. But we're not by no means here sort of denigrating the memory of Joel, right? We're just this is the report, and you get this with most avalanche deaths, and we're just going through like looking at causes, this kind of thing. So this is not necessarily opinion saying you shouldn't have done this, shouldn't have done this. It's just like this is, or what. If we stray into that territory, I'm sorry, but what we're trying to do is just stay on the facts as presented in the police report.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
So it pays not to speculate. I mean, you get this report if it's your child or spouse that's been killed, and the policeman that gave us this report asked the regional prosecutor if I could share it to sensibiliser the community. Skiers, So that's basically what we're doing. So this is not public, and these photos, there's a selection here from their helicopter. They spent hours hovering around there trying to recover, and
Okay, so what we're looking at is these guys have traversed in there over that little ridge into the top of the tree line, essentially.
Yeah,
and you can see the top of the avalanche path there.
Yeah, exactly. Right, running down.
Third lap of the day.
One could speculate that they have stopped on this small ridge.
Yeah.
You could argue, are inside the tree line.
Yeah, you could. Just inside the tree line.
Yeah. But here is very steep. It's over 30 degrees. Above where they were, it's quite flat.
Yes.
The other Joel's mum came here in the summer, and his boss and I walked her up to that point, and she wanted to visit where it happened, so we took her there, and then so they stopped on this ridge, and I assume they stopped. Maybe they didn't stop.
Well, they've gone through quite an obvious chute there as well, right? That is what's that, cave? Little thing there, right?
Convex at the top.
Yeah,
they've traversed across already something, but it's not as steep here as it is here. This photo is not. It's not a very good angle, but they're together at this point.
Okay, so two guys standing in the same place.
They've stopped.
Yeah.
And if we assume they stopped on that ridge just below that tree.
Yeah.
That didn't start the avalanche.
Okay.
They must have then gone forwards a metre or two,
Yeah.
and one of them triggered it.
Okay.
Now, here we go, rule number 2, avalanches release above a certain pitch.
Yeah,
So
before we get to that,
Yeah.
can we go back to the avalanche report for that day? Does it indicate like weak layers and various other bits and pieces? Like in the Snow White, what's it called? Snow White, White Risk.
Yeah.
Report. So it doesn't say there, does it? What does it?
It talks about the snowpack, and it's there's a map, big red zone over where they were skiing.
Yeah.
Next to it, a big red cross.
4 Duluth.
Yeah.
4, yeah.
Like danger, danger, danger.
Spontaneous avalanches.
The black bits. There's a little compass symbol, north, south, west, east.
Like all that.
And there are bits shaded in which show you that all of those aspects are dangerous.
Yeah.
So by aspects, what we mean is which way a slope faces.
Yeah.
So sometimes a slope can face one way and be safe, or face another way and be dangerous. So this little compass flower here shows many aspects.
Literally, the only place it says is not is south and southwest.
Yeah. And if we look at this presentation here, what I'm showing now is it's a snow graph for the season.
Okay.
And it shows there's a sort of, it looks like just a regular kind of Napoleon hat sort of graph.
Yeah.
And in the middle here, the grey line which goes up and over is the average snowfall through the winter. And you can see there's October, there's July.
Oh, yeah.
So the snow depth, and this I think is a Runette or somewhere at similar altitude.
Yeah.
And you can see that the snow is a little bit below average when we get to January.
Yeah.
It's on average.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the BBC was saying, it's global warming catastrophe and the Alps are dead. But you can see actually here we had the same snow as the last few years.
Yeah.
And then it stops in January there. And you can see there the two lines
huge
diverge.
high pressure across the Alps.
Yeah, and then you can see that by the time we get to March...
Which is when this happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the time we get to March, the snow was way below average.
Yeah.
Depth.
Yeah.
This is snow depth. And it was almost as low as it has ever been since they started making this graph.
Because if you remember last year, so we had a very similar start.
Yep.
We were all skiing in November.
Yep.
Everyone was very happy. Then we had the Daily Mail saying it was the end of the world across Christmas, New Year.
Yeah.
Because it was a bit hot.
Which, if you look at that,
which is nonsense.
Yeah.
In terms of the overall picture.
Yeah.
But then we had a bunch of snow in Jan, and then it went high pressure for like 2 months. It's brilliant.
And you can see that there is a great gap there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then you get this big snowfall. These blue lines here, the vertical ones, are the snowfall. And then there's a huge snowfall, and the snow comes right back to average.
So bang on average.
Yeah.
So that is my experience of last season. It snowed like massively, but 3 times.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So coming back to the police thing here. So obviously it was a level 4. It had just dumped snow. So that means that people are mad keen to get the powder.
Absolutely.
They've been there all season, and half the season, or nearly half the season.
And the powder hounds are desperate, right? Because all they've done is peace skiing for the last.
Can you remain sensible in that situation? No, you want to ski.
Yeah.
So they wanted to ski so much they went that day when others were not going.
That's really curious, because last season, I don't want to put my own spin on this, but I injured myself at the start of March, so I don't even remember these powder days because I was just lying in bed. I couldn't move. So actually, I missed all of this. I missed the second powder section of the season from my perspective. Okay, that's interesting. Right, go on.
And then here you see from above. From
okay, this is a better angle, right?
Yeah, facing what happened. You see the tracks.
So that's them coming in.
That's them coming in, and also a patroller afterwards who then skis off this way. But you can see below how the snow it's balling up, it's rolling down in little pieces, it's getting a bit heavy. I mean, it's not that, you can see it's not that heavy.
No, but I mean, what they triggered only went, it was what? How many meters
10 meters
is that?
above
10 meters above them is the ground, right?
And it went down 200 meters after that into the trees. The exact details of what happened immediately after the avalanche and how they died, I won't go into here, but I will in the talk.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were both killed. And when they stopped on that ridge,
yeah.
So the first thing they've done is a third run, and they've gone little stash over there. It's a bit steeper, but it looks really nice. It's freshly tracked. They've gone just a little bit further into this gully.
Yeah.
And so that's one decision. Okay.
Yeah.
Then they've stopped on the ridge. Okay, that might be sensible.
Yeah.
And then they've obviously both gone at the same time.
So that's what we know, is it, that they both went at the same time?
Well, they must have done.
Okay.
Because if one had waited while the other skied it, he would have been able to dig him out. So when you get...
It wasn't the case that it was one was just sort of standing there and still got kind of tape. That tree's still there, isn't it? But I don't know.
I mean, it could have been. It could have been, but there is an obvious ridge there. So I speculate they were standing on... They must have both been skiing at the same time on the snow that failed.
Yeah, or one's gone, put a couple of turns in, and then... Yeah. And like you say, that is one of the classic things, isn't it, with Avalanche? I can't remember the exact phrase for it. It's been a while now since I updated mine, but it's that kind of pushing it a little bit further each time thing.
Yeah.
It's like, we tracked all that stuff out. Okay, so we're just going to get that bit there because no one's been there.
Yeah.
But the conditions in that exact place are not the same as the conditions in the other place further around the bowl where they have been skiing previously.
It's really steep there. There is a risk.
Yeah. Okay.
They're in the trees. So if you thought, I mean, 2 days later, 2 days later, I picked up his mum and his sister from the airport, and on the way back in the car, we were talking, and his sister relayed to me how she'd been discussing the avalanche risk with him, and he'd said to her that the best snow was on a level 4. Yeah. So what he was doing was changing the risk rating, 1 to 5. It was a level 4, very high, into some sort of snow report, which of course is not the same thing at all. They'd conflated that, so they were more hungry to go out instead of less hungry. So he had turned one thing into another thing in his mind.
Yeah.
You can have great snow on a lower rating. Obviously, you'll have higher risk rate, higher danger levels.
Yeah.
When there's fresh snow. So yes, the two do correlate, but they're not the same thing.
In my experience, also you have different conditions here because you have more altitude here than we do. I've quite a lot of experience in the Port de Soleil where I'm based of skiing powder in March at a lower altitude. You don't get many runs at it before it gets really heavy.
No.
And normally you'd be done by 11, 12 and gone.
Yeah.
Because it's too, I wouldn't say it becomes unskiable, but the moisture content of the snow builds up really fast. So you've got to get up and go up real early. And that stuff, when it avalanches, I will admit that I have been in the trees on my own in that time of year when I was a younger man, and I've seen some heavy stuff kind of move down the mountain and scared myself. Like, Jesus, like that is, if you get stuck in that, it sets hard. Like I'm sure maybe we'll come to that later, but it's not. It's not the light, fluffy champagne powder that you see people.
I remember having an instructor when I was a lad, and he was telling us how he'd been taken into a tree by an avalanche in the forest. And if you're listening to this and you're coming out for a season, or you're going to live here and you're going to want to go free riding, you take the experience of others. Don't just let your own experience guide you. So
when the mountain is not just some enormous. I'm not trying to be critical after the event. I'm really trying not to do that, but it's not some enormous risk-free playground.
Yeah.
Right. There is, especially in the off-piste. It scares me. I'm happy to admit it scares me to death. Yeah. I don't do it very often, and when I do want to go and ski powder, I go and ski places where I know that I'm skiing 25 degrees, or there's certain spots that I'll go, and I'll just do hot laps around there until it runs out, and then I'll just go home.
because I'm not interested, and I personally don't take people off piste because I don't want the responsibility of all of that stuff. I've got 2 guys on my team who are cool with it, and you can have all of that work as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, I personally think that we do some off-piste lessons which should be super low risk, and are super low risk. But if you want to go off-piste, go with a mountain guide.
Yeah.
You know, they spend years training in that environment.
Yeah.
You know, and they're qualified to take people on glaciers, and just do that. You're not guaranteed. You know, they have accidents too.
Yeah.
A mountain guide was killed the same week as Matt was killed. I met his daughter in a total tragedy. You've got a couple of, like, for me there are a couple of factors that you've got to appreciate. One is you don't know much. You know, the people who will say this the most are the people who've been here the longest.
Yeah.
I was on the bus with a guy who runs some hotels here the other night. We both met on the bus and coming back from wherever. And
you don't get the bus.
Well, I didn't think he would get the bus, but there we were, both car trouble, no snow tyres, coming back on the bus.
You don't get the bus.
I do.
You probably have a limo driver or something.
No, I do not. I have small.
Don't tell anyone that you get the bus.
Yeah, I do. Not by choice.
Or you just like trying to experience.
Not by choice. Not by choice. No. Anyway, no. I love buses. Buses.
What were you saying?
I was saying that. Yeah, he was saying, oh, you know, none of us know anything, and he's been here and he's known 5 people that have died, and yeah. So if you're doing a season and you're in amongst a bunch of friends, who is the guy in your group who you think really knows what they're doing? Is it the guy with the airbag? Is it the guy who's done 3 seasons and you're in your first season, or he really knows what he's doing? Or you follow him everywhere? Are you in a group and you are thinking that this dude is a real expert because he skis a bit better than you? You know, does he? For one, did he enter a competition once? Does he say he's sponsored? Does he have what? Did someone give him some? Did someone give him some goggles? You know, I mean, whatever. The people you need to talk to are the local guides, the other local skiers, and if you're stuck in a little group, that's terrifying. And the other thing is, if the climate, well, the climate is, let's say, if the climate is changing and it's warming up, that affects the avalanche risk. So if it's warmer than it was before, the people who learnt where was dangerous and where was safe before have to now reassess that risk. And when you see mountain guides being taken in avalanches, you have to think, well, they obviously thought where they were was safe, but then it wasn't. So the snow, if the temperature, as the temperature changes, the snowpack changes. So you can't just you can't just go at it like you would have done in
every day is
87 or 97.
Every day is a new day.
You know. And that's one of the terrifying things. You can accumulate all the experience in the world and still. Yeah. So
right, let's carry on.
Let's carry on. So
this is a super interesting graph though.
Yeah.
Because last year anyone that you would have talked to would have told you it was a crappy snow year in terms of volume.
Yeah.
Actually, that graph says it was the same as every other year. It's just it fell at a different way.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
I mean, this video here, which I'm sure you've seen, is the avalanche which happened actually just a few days after. It happened a few days after the one that killed Joel, and I'm sure you've seen this. This went around on. You know, this footage here, you can see 2 skiers, one there.
Yeah.
You can see 2 skiers being taken by an avalanche.
Yeah.
That was on social media before the rescue was complete. You know, so in terms of like, you've got your appreciation of the snowpack, the group of people you're in, are they all going crazy because they've all grown up in a cautious Northern European country? So are you letting loose where you should be more cautious? Are you in a social media thing where...
What is it? What am I looking at here?
What you're looking at here is an avalanche, and the reason I put this in the presentation is because this happens...
Well, look at the sheer power of this thing.
Yeah, this is very different to Joel's avalanche.
For sure, yeah.
And this is happening...
Where is this?
This is behind Col de Gentiane.
Okay.
So you come down here and you end up in Civier. This is a massive powder avalanche.
Fresh snow avalanche.
Yeah, and the whole face goes.
Yeah.
The snowpack spreads across faces, and it's all linked, and there's tension. So when one bit goes, often the whole thing goes.
Yeah.
And you can see it all collapsing around here, and
then it goes around the corner of this ridge, and then you say that there's two people over here.
Yeah, you can see him just there looking. This is a completely different.
No, for sure.
And this is where Matt was killed here.
Really?
Yeah, not in this avalanche, but in the exact same spot.
Wow.
And this is
some pretty serious skiing.
Oh yeah, this is it. See, this is high off piste.
High mountain off piste, serious shit.
Yeah. So two very different situations. He skied in there first, in here, and then
this is in Matt's situation.
And then his two colleagues had to go and try and find him. Super traumatic. It's taken them. It is taking them years to recover from that. He went first, which was, I suppose, noble. Mm-hmm. But yeah, very different situation. And this video,
the exposure on this particular place is huge.
Huge, yeah.
Absolutely huge. Like if something goes wrong, there's no way out there.
Yeah.
But the other one, like if in Joel and Joel's case, for example, let's say put aside the fact that it was a Mark IV day, right? You could have considered that as fucking around in the trees.
That's probably what they thought they were doing. Yeah.
Because that's very different to that face there.
Very much.
That face there is just like
that's
big mountain skiing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Goodness me! Look at the power of that.
I know. So it's just
okay.
It's just horrendous. So.
Oh, this picture.
I know. So
I'm looking at a picture of Joel himself. You know, like he barely looks like he's shaving. I mean, this is such a waste.
Yeah. God. And if you look at this map here, we're just going to come back into the details slightly before we talk about more of the context. You can see this little patch of orange there, denoting piste over 30 degrees.
So this is what I'm looking at now is the map of the what do they call it? The piste angle map.
Yeah, this is like an ordnance survey map if you're from Britain.
Yeah.
This is a Swiss geo map.
Yeah.
You can see it online, free of charge, with your phone.
Yeah.
And by clicking on certain things, you can add layers to it.
You can. Yeah.
You can add like anything you want, all sorts of layers. And this layer is a pitch.
Yeah.
All the bits that are shaded yellow and purple and orange, and those are the bits over 30 degrees.
So everything white is below 30 degrees. So there's fair game. So that the majority of the bowl there, in the middle, where they were, is like fair game. You just go ski that. You've got very, very low risk of getting avalanche. But the further round to the right of the bowl it starts to get really steep.
So you can see, it's in the trees. It's a bit steeper. Maybe it's okay. You know, this is not This is not like the first avalanche where. We're up here in the big mountain. It's high risk, and we made a mistake, and boom. This is they've made mistakes, but this is much more marginal in your decision making. In the second one, you have to be much more disciplined. No, it's too steep.
And on this map, where are they?
Just here.
Where it says Le Payen. So right, exactly on the P or
literally. Yeah. I mean,
so they've gone. Yeah, you see it, right? That's that little chute.
Yeah.
And then they're there, and all of a sudden that top bit is that's 30 then.
Yeah, it's very steep just under the top, but they came in just below that.
Yeah. Okay, I see that.
Down there, so. You can use that tool. There's so many tools you can use online.
No, well, it's interesting, right? Because if they're there on the P, literally just above them, it goes to 30, and beyond that. What's the purple? Beyond 35? 40?
Yeah. So,
so they're literally standing underneath something that's primed to drop on a level 4 day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's no way out.
And it's not. It's sort of in the trees, and this is why when our instructors are teaching, we just say no off-piste with the clients. There are some areas, according to the law and the rules, where they could go in the tree line, but we just say no. Because I don't want an instructor with a client trying to interpret, is this the trees, is this not the trees, some guy's done a bit of touring in the Navy or whatever. I don't want them coming back at me going, "Well, it was just say no." Then it's easy, you know. We take that risk out of it, even though that might be frustrating sometimes. So but so that's where, and then you can see a slightly different than the snow graph, obviously, and then this is in the police HQ in Sion.
Okay.
That's Joel's mum. That's his sister.
Oh.
Giving them this report.
Yeah.
This is the photo from below the avalanche. This is the debris field.
Oh.
And you can see
a ski bike.
there's one ski,
And a pole.
and the pole, and there was another skier on his own skiing below this area, who obviously came down the middle of the gully,
Yeah.
the middle of the bowl where it is safe. He came across this, saw the ski sticking out of the snow, couldn't see either of them.
So they're very lucky actually that this guy was around, because they wouldn't have been found
No.
for a while until someone had noticed that they weren't there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, how would we or they have known? I mean, a
And
flatmate.
it doesn't matter then if
They're
you're both going together. It doesn't matter if you've got a transceiver on or anything like that, because
If you both ski into if you both ski into a slope at the same time, and it avalanches and buries you both, who's going to come for you?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
So go one at a time.
Yeah.
You know, and so eventually you can see where the two patrollers are there. That's where they were found, and there's detail on that, but we don't need to.
My goodness.
We don't need to go into that. Yeah, it's just horrendous. And obviously in a ski resort, there's so much speculation, so many people, you know, talking and all this stuff. And my job really in this whole thing was, the job that I gave myself really was to look after his mum
Yeah, for sure.
and his sister, which was actually surprisingly, well, it wasn't surprisingly hard, it was super hard.
Of course.
I mean, it's the hardest thing.
Well, I've said this
It was awful.
on the podcast a number of times in relation to how I feel the responsibility to my staff to provide them with a living,
Yeah.
to my instructors. But, you know, furthermore, this is like the next level on, isn't it? You know, you're responsible for these people that come in the winter. It weighs heavy on me.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we'll touch on this now, but we obviously, after this, had a huge introspection about, you know, do we have a culture in our school which encourages free ride?
Yeah.
And is a risk culture, you know, are they all there in the locker room? Not that we have a locker room, but are they there in the locker room? Like
I wish I had a locker room.
Chess, you know, are they there?
That's prime real estate in Birmingham.
Are they doing like a Maverick and Iceman?
Yeah.
Chest pump, like, I ski the super Kolba. What for you skiing? You know, it was like.
Sounds like Aspen Extreme.
Yeah, no. Do we have that? You know, is it something in our culture which has encouraged them to do that?
Yeah.
And I don't think it is. We don't. We don't make videos about it.
Yeah.
We don't. We don't encourage them. We send them lots of messages. We do heaps of training on that stuff. You know, the obviously question was is have we done anything that has, in both these cases now, encouraged that? And I don't think we have. Have we done anything which, did we do stuff to try and prevent it? Yes, we did. Matt went on just finished the 10-day Swiss Snowsports Avalanche course.
Wow.
The day before he was killed.
Oh no.
Yeah. So what do you? It's the only course that any ski instructor in Switzerland has ever done to go off piste, and he just completed it. So, what do you say? Do you say, well, you should have done another? And that is it. I mean,
it's not like it's not full of content, that course.
Yeah.
You know, we've all done it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And you know, it's a tricky thing. So how do you? So we've been into that, and you think, okay, in the school was there a culture? No. In his other community, which I guess is the Swedish skiers of Verbier, is there a culture? I'd say yes. Mm-hmm. They're always Instagramming and doing lines and edits and you know all that stuff. And I'd say in that, it's very much about free ride. the leaders of that thing are the ones that are taking the most risk and entering the competitions, and you're not going to. It's not going to stop that stuff. That is not going to stop. But, and this is why I went to Sweden to give this talk, and there's not only the risk averseness at home, which they then get released from. There's also the fact that their mountains are completely different.
Yeah.
So the mountains in Sweden are more like the Scottish mountains.
Yeah, the hills, right?
Yeah.
I've been to Norway.
So windy, flat, rolling hills.
Yeah.
So, and because it's so far north, it's a lot colder.
Yeah.
So the temperature throughout the day hardly changes at all. So if they had been skiing in Sweden and it was -5 in the morning, it might have been -1 by the afternoon. Whereas if they're here, it might start at -1 at 8 in the morning and +5 in the afternoon. Yeah. So that small difference is a thing that they all need to consider. Yeah. And they're amazing skiers, and their skiers won the Freeride World Tour many times. Different disciplines and events, and so they have a culture of that, which is, I think, quite. It's quite dangerous.
Yeah.
And hopefully they can make them understand that. And they need to approach, not like approach the snow not like they're in Sweden, approach gaining the knowledge like they're in Switzerland, and talk to if you see a mountain guide in a bar having a coffee, go and say, hey, what's good, where would you go, not go, what can you help me? They won't mind. They don't want you to die in avalanche, or learn about the conditions, get all the tools you can.
I'm going to come back to media later.
Yeah.
You want to finish this?
Yeah. So afterwards, I went and got his mum and sister, and obviously that's what they're going through still is horrendous. And,
for sure. As a parent, you don't expect to outlive your child, do you?
Yeah. We organised a wake on the mountain. Mm-hmm. And his mum and the other Joel's mum, so brave, so dignified. I mean, I think it was touching for them to meet all those people, and we said a few words, they said a few words, and what do you say? I mean, it's it's bonkers, and it was very touching. The other Joel's boss, Nikki, was absolutely amazing. She looked after the other Joel's mum. I looked after Al Joel's mum.
What was kind of focused on your Joel? What was other Joel doing in Birmingham?
He was working for an events company.
Okay.
Helping run events.
Okay.
Yeah, and running around and.
So he was doing quite a different season to your Joel, where your Joel was teaching and.
Yeah, I mean they're living together, skiing, working when they can. They're having a great. I met them in the supermarket in January, and in my basket is like, I don't know. I think I had at that time a frozen pizza in a box. And some fruit and vegetables. Yeah, how times have changed this summer. So those days are gone. So some fruit, some vegetables, maybe some little bougie products. And I just happened to be in the queue behind them in the supermarket, and he was like, boss, those pizzas are a rip-off. And I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, look. And they had 2 crates of beer. Yeah. Like 4 bottles of spirits, I don't know, vodka or something. Several bottles of Coke. Yeah. And a carton of milk. And their food. And he was like, look at this. And he picked up this pizza, and it's like one of those like metre by metre, like 2 feet. It's like the size of your oven, great big square pizza. And he's like, this is £1.90, and yours was £4.50. We had a good old banter about this, and they were, lovely young lads having an adventure, doing a season. Yeah. Having a drink at home, and they weren't like alcoholics or anything. They were just having a party, the season, and living on their pizza, and fantastic, freedom and skiing and just
finding your way in the world, right?
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. So we had that other little moment in the supermarket, and then the other thing is, of course, that for most of these people in the resort, the younger skiers and ski instructors, and a lot of my guys, they've never had to deal with anything like that.
when you're young, you just don't know people who die, right? Like, it doesn't happen to you very often. It's something that I've noticed as I've got older. People around me are starting to die.
I then had to take his mum to, and I had tremendous help from a friend of mine here, who lent me a car, and I mean, I just because it was nicer than my car, and I took the mum and the sister down to identify the body, which was I didn't go into that end room with them, but before and after and either side of that was just obviously to see them going through that, just horrendous. And then he was moved. To a morgue. And before they flew home, they wanted to see him. And I got to say that people in ES and people in the village, Hotel de Verbier, were absolutely wonderful with them. They looked after them, and when I dropped them at the hotel, another little crew came and took over and had dinner with them, and then I took them for dinner, and do you know what I mean? We made sure. Yeah. We made sure that they were looked after, and then just before they go, he was in the morgue, and they wanted to go and say goodbye, which they did, and I went to see him as well, and so harsh. And then while we were waiting to go, this guy, he said, "Do you want his stuff?" And I was like, "Well, yes," but it was obviously in that bag,
blue bag.
in that blue bag, and so I didn't take it there, and they actually washed it all and folded it nicely, and his ski boots and everything, and then I took all that to Sweden later. But yeah, all these sort of details and so on are just like,
it's sometimes the little details like that.
Like, what is it you love more than skiing? I mean, in the moment, you're only doing ski seasons, and everybody you talk to says, "Oh my God, when I was that age, I was doing all this crazy stuff." Everybody says that. So it's, you will do that too, but you have to make an effort to understand the risks.
Yeah.
And those people who say that back in the day, like our age and older, I'd say, were skiing off-piste on narrow skis.
Yeah.
So if the snow wasn't fantastic, it was really difficult to ski.
Yeah.
If the snow was heavy back in the day, it was very hard to ski, which meant that you had to be a very good skier to ski it.
Yes.
And you sent me those videos a few weeks ago of some 90s Austrian skiers. Sometimes they're in the off-piste, and they'll blast through. And back in the day, some of us could blast through heavy powder, doing linked precision turns.
Yeah.
But to do that, you had to be very practiced and very good. Most instructors these days couldn't do that. Mm-hmm. Some can.
Yeah.
Most can't.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you can do that in the off-piste, your piste skiing is just perfect. Yeah. There's no ski breaking away. There's no breaking at the waist. So you had to, back in the day, the old boys saying, "Oh yeah, back in the day with this and that," it was different. The equipment was long, straight, thin skis which sank into the powder.
Yeah.
There was no such thing as a wider ski. I saw the first wide ski in 94.
Yeah.
And they were ordered by heli ski companies to make it possible for old, overweight Americans to ski the powder.
Uh-huh.
And I remember me and my ski instructor colleagues in California, we bumped into some old guys at the top. We hiked to the top of this mountain, and these old boys had these fat skis, and they were swearing by them. They were like, "Oh, this is amazing, this is the future." Yeah. And we were all laughing at them. We were like, "No, come on, get a real pair of skis, they're not even 2 meters long." So, it has changed. So you have a reference historically. Yeah, the old boys say, but you and your kit, which is light and wide and with a rocker. What? A rocker? What? To make it easier? What their risk profile that they're talking to you about is not the same as yours. You're immediately, very easily into very dangerous terrain on a wider pair of skis.
Yeah.
So consider that. Consider, am I living in a community of Swedes or Brits or French or whatever? Am I in amongst a free ride bunch of people? And the only people we know who are any good are the leaders amongst us. What does the old mountain guide say, the local guy? What does the local coach say? Or what does the ski patrol guy say? Do we have a coffee with him and say what's good, what's not, what's the snow?
Yeah.
Are we stuck in our little bubble? Are we thinking, well, if I make a really cool edit and I jump off this big thing and my friend films it and I put it on Instagram, when I go to the pub and I'm playing darts, will young Ingrid be telling her friend, oh, that's that guy who did that massive, backflip or whatever, into that cool, oh, really, that's him. We've all been there. You get sort of wrapped up in he's the guy that skis really well type situation, and before you know it, you're pushing that risk because you want that. You want to be a recognised good skier. Some people say those two were risk takers. They were trying to build a name for themselves. They were trying to do those things. And when I've got one instructor at the moment who's going to enter competitions. He's already been skiing like 3 times, and I'm just like, oh, be safe, please, be careful, please, that's his mum and sister again. We had lunch after we identified the body and so on, and just so hard, so hard. And that cultural side of it, even when you go out skiing, is something to be aware of. Yeah. You have to decide. Johnny boy over here who's got the fancy skis and has been in whatever, are you following him? Why? Oh yeah, because he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. He's got 10,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah. Somebody gave him a pair of goggles.
Well, we might as well. Is there? Do you want to wrap that up before we move on to the topic of that, or are we?
Yeah, I mean that I give the talk is a little bit like the discussion we've just had. I mean, at the end there. I mean, what are we looking for? We're looking to have a great time. We're looking to go skiing. Whether you're living here or visiting for a season or here on holiday. Yeah. But, obvious things. Understand the risk of where you're going. It's a heavily studied subject. Get all the free tools that you can. The weather forecast, white risk. Yeah. The Geo website with the picture of the terrain is available free on a web browser. Yeah. It even has a GPS thing. You can touch that and show you where you are. Yeah, you put yourself Which way do I go down? Yeah. I've made a lot of mistakes. I'm in the fog. Which way do I go? Left, right, straight down. Okay, well, I can see from the map directly below me there's a cliff, so I'm going to go left around it. Which side is, you can make those, you can learn, and there are so many courses you can do, and you can learn those things. Be aware of the group that you're in. Is the group egging each other on? Yeah. Would you be willing socially in that group to say, nah, I'm not going to do this, I'm going to walk back out? Or would you go, I'm going to go? Yeah. And when the group skis, does it all ski the slope at the same time? Yeah. You've done 2 or 3 runs, it was good, it's getting heavier. Do you say, let's do one more? Or do you call it a day? Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I ski powder, and I can think of and remember very few occasions when it was really perfect. And you're flying in it and it's just amazing. A lot of the time it's not. It's tracked, it's this, it's that, it's heavy, it's, But those moments when it's just perfect are the drug that everyone's after. And if it's not going to be perfect, if it's still going to be 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock, or it's still going to be warm, it's still going to be heavy. And then when you finally get there, are we going to ski it all at once? Or are we just going to be like, I'm going to be Captain Boring and tell you, you go first, I'll wait here. Because if they'd done that, one of them would have got buried or whatever, and the other one could have gone and dug him out.
Would have had a chance, right?
Yeah, chance. Yeah. get the equipment you need.
Yeah, it's true.
These are pretty, like.
Do you think that your voice there, that you're talking with, though, is a voice of a guy of experience? You're 24.
Yeah.
You see the world in a different way.
Yeah.
Maybe even at 30, right? If I think back to myself at 30, I'm still a dickhead. I have no idea what I'm doing, right? I haven't really got myself together, if I'm honest.
Has it changed?
Hey, I'm sober at least. But I only really, if I'm honest, I got myself together age 39.
Interesting.
And
you don't look that old.
Thanks, man. I'm trying. And I don't know, like it just, you see the world in a different way. So maybe, I'm not saying in terms of like sort of egging your mates on and kind of going, just like gung-hoing, but you don't see risk in the same way when you're younger than you do when you're older.
Yeah.
That is for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think
it's an interesting topic for discussion. I'm not saying there's a right or a wrong way.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty callous, I think, sometimes when we're young, and you can't. How do you get that across? How do you say to someone who misses the team photo because he wants to go skiing?
Yeah.
That the people, how do you say to someone like, that your flatmates, your mother and your flatmates, or your mother and your boss, or your sister and your best friend are going to be hugging each other in floods of tears in tomorrow because you've not taken this seriously, or you've made a simple mistake, or you've gone out when there's so many like weather conditions. We've been through it, but how do you impress on someone the utter tragedy of it in doing it? You don't want to be so like, don't do it, don't ever do anything.
No, because often the greatest pleasure is found at the edge of risk, right? But I'm super conscious of it these days. That I ride bikes in the summer a lot, but one of my main objectives is to get home every time because I've got too much to lose. And I suppose I didn't have that when I was 24.
Yeah.
I had nothing to lose. In fact, I remember distinctly being that age, or maybe slightly younger. I remember waking up in a random place in Lanzarote, right? Like in the middle of a field full of rocks. I have no idea I got there. Massive cut on my head, like just, because it was a great night out. Right? But you get away with those things sometimes. I could think of 5 or 6 other instances like that where you just got lucky. I mean, how many times maybe have Joel and Matt skied other places where they got lucky by 2 or 3%, they didn't realise it. Yeah. And you don't know. And I'm not trying to absolve anything. Yeah. I mean, this particular case that you walked me through here, it's like those old airline crashes, like there's compounding mistakes.
Yeah.
That add up to the one where you die.
Yeah.
Right, and that is that's the biggest lesson I think that I see in here. It's like you made this mistake but you went past it, and then you made this mistake and you kept going past it, and then there was another one, and like you end up where you end up.
And in this particular case, these were not black and white. There's no single thing apart from they both going together.
Yeah.
Which is not at least a little bit understandable. Yeah. It's not at least a little bit questionable. It's not, it's not like we swerved onto the wrong side of the road. Well, we went, but then it was below this thing, and it was, we were in the trees. So you could easily see the conversation.
And on their own, these individual errors might have been okay.
Yeah.
Right, you might have got away with it, but obviously there was a
on the flatter slopes where they'd done the previous 2 runs. They're probably skiing together perfectly well, having a great time. Yeah. It's very interesting, and it's hard without these images on the podcast to give quite the effect. I mean, you can see here there are some slides when he was young, and to give quite the emotional effect that the presentation has. I'm happy to.
Well, let's talk about the presentation because you are going to hopefully come to Port de Slate. We're going to find a place to do it. Come to the Port de Slate, and we're going to get you there to, since we can find a date, get you to do that. And you're willing to go within reason to wherever to present this to whoever wants to have it.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to be an intermediary for that.
Great.
So get in touch with me if you want Julian's info.
Yeah.
Happy to connect you.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with the business or anything like that, but if it can make a difference in your resort, in your team, I'll be giving it again in Verbier and probably Zermatt too.
Yeah.
It's just, it's one of those things that everyone, well, what can you do? What can you do to make it safer? There's that, and then and it's 40 minutes long.
Yeah.
It's not a huge thing. It's not a how to avoid an avalanche. It's not an avalanche safety talk. It's not. I'm not a mountain guide, but in a sense it is. There are some conclusions you can draw from that. Some lessons learned that.
Well, I think what's interesting about this one compared to other things that you've seen is that this talk is real. Like, it has an element of reality, lot of reality about it.
Yeah.
It's really hard hitting in terms of its. Sitting here, this is just awful. The theoretical ones that you read in the textbooks that say don't go here because of X.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Don't do that. You don't see the consequences of those choices.
Yeah, after Matt's avalanche, I didn't want to ski at all.
Yeah.
And neither did the two girls that were with him. And one of them left skiing completely.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't even look at them. There was a period there I couldn't even look at the mountains.
Yeah.
I didn't want to look at them.
Yeah.
It was just all bad. And with this one, it was a little bit the same afterwards.
Yeah.
I'm more positive now. I'm trying to do something, and the talk is all I can do, really. I mean, that's probably the most...
doing something is important, right? It's also the reason that I started the charity. So my mate Spen died of cancer.
Oh.
And, I want to... You spend time building business, right? It occupies your time. You're kind of focused on it. But at some point, you've got to do something more to the world other than just creating a medium to sell ski lessons to people, which is good in its own way, creates pleasure in the world, right? Like, giving people the gift of skiing, essentially. But, I don't know. Like, this, I can see what you're doing here.
Yeah.
In the same way that I'm doing what I'm doing.
There's also the question of culture.
Let's talk about that, because we want to talk about that in media, right?
The other thing that I'm trying to find a way to do this is to try and get brands in skiing, or brands who use Snowsport images and footage, and by that I mean everything from an independent ski instructor, through a restaurant that uses ski footage in a promotional video, through a huge equipment brand or an airline. There's a big shop in Verbier, which had in its window an enormous screen, and on it they played a video, and it was like a sort of Paris marketing agency dream. There were these skiers all in these black outfits, all with headbands, and looking like the sort of the ideal skier that your wealthy to wealthy plus Euro skier might idealise. And they were shooting down the mountain, and behind them billowed up a great big avalanche, and they skied away from it.
Yeah.
And they were all on the slope at the same time, so they were doing one thing.
And it was like CGI, right?
It was all CGI. I mean, there was a bit of, I don't know how they did it, but it was, you could tell it was CGI. It wasn't a real video, but it was, and it was the sort of, it was there every day. And after this avalanche, the one of our clients went in there and was shouting at the girls that work in that shop, "Get that video off!"
Yeah.
And they took it off straight away.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, straight away. Because, just on repeat in the middle of town.
Yeah.
Showing people doing stupid things, taking bad decisions, and
glamorizing
skiing in a day without any equipment,
Yeah.
So, I see it a lot. Ski schools do it. I even, we had a brochure made and they put a photo on the brochure with the guy with no rucksack. I was like, no, you take that off.
Yeah.
And he just takes a little bit of care.
Yeah.
You know, don't show shoaling. And, you know, I'm sure if people want to go through all our social media and stuff, I'm sure back in the day, you might be able to find some, I don't know. But let's all the businesses in the Alps, let's try when we use a foot, you know, we all want to put, whether you're a hotel, a ski school, brand of gloves, you all want to use those super aspirational images, sunny day, skiing the powder, beautiful. And those are great images and they're fantastic for the sport, and it's what people aspire to do. But don't show the whole group skiing the slope at once. Don't show people skiing with no avalanche equipment on. Those are the basic ones, aren't they? You know,
Yeah.
Don't you know, and if you show those two things, at least acknowledge the danger that your image is going to show. Freeride World Tour. Why don't in the commentary you talk about, you know, in Formula One we have, I mean, they're all on the same tyres now, but for example, you might say back in the day, this is Nigel Mansell and he's on the Bridgestone, or this is Michael Schumacher, he's on the Goodyear tyres, or he's driving the Mercedes. We could say, for example, this is skier A, and he's got a Mammoth transceiver or a PEEP system, or you know, or the piece was prepared by the piece security is sponsored by Mammoth.
Yeah.
You know, let's have 30 seconds of the footage devoted to a guide saying the face is in this condition. This is the snowpack.
Today,
before the competition.
Here's where you can find this info, right?
You have it in cricket, talking about the grass.
Yeah.
You have it in, any number of things. Formula One, talking about the weather and the rain radar, and why don't we look at this? Okay, the snowpack is this, and just it would take 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, he could take his goggles off. You know, you could get that bit sponsored by someone else.
Yeah.
There is a whole little industry around avalanche safety. Put that stuff into the content, into the commentary.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, the people watching that stuff are a load of teenagers out there who are going, oh, wow, that's amazing. As soon as they come skiing, they want to go off this, down that. And they haven't gone through anything like the training and the preparation and the experience that the athletes have done.
Yeah.
It's like watching a Formula One race when you're 17 and then going out in your mum's Micra and crashing on the roundabout, you know? It's literally the same thing. So, you know, if
with the same consequences.
Yeah, like responsible media. I think that's a big thing. I've spoken to a filmmaker about that and he wasn't that keen, but I think we'll find a way to try and do that so that from the beginning people see, why's he got that thing, or what's that, you know, what's that on his back, or what, you know, just make it responsible so that being safe is normal.
Yeah, I have noticed in the media, I'm not particularly talking about, well, no, just like social media, YouTube stuff lately, the image that everyone seems to want to be going for is the skier with either skier outrunning Avalanche or skier outrunning a bunch of slough that's coming down after them, right?
Yeah.
That's the glamour shot, because you have that shot where they sort of turn away and switch into a different line, and then all the stuff comes down past them and it looks like a waterfall or whatever.
It looks like a surf wave that's coming.
Exactly that, yeah.
And here's the thing, right? For those of you at home, an avalanche is not like a wave.
No.
Now, a wave is obviously difficult, and if it lands on top of you, whatever, that's tough.
Yeah.
So I'm not a surfer.
I'm not a surfer. I'd like to be a surfer.
But it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's like concrete, and it stops and sets around you. You don't bob up to the top and
you don't
swim into the beach and have an ice cream. You know, it's like it's water. So yeah, I'm sure big waves. Yeah, you don't want to be under that. It can kill you. I'm sure, but an avalanche coming down behind you is not the same as a rising water pressure causing a wave.
Yeah.
You know.
Apologies to all the pro surfers out there.
Apologies.
Just screaming at this guy.
You have no idea what you're talking about. It's really dangerous.
Yeah. I'm sure it is. But I understand your point, but that seems to be the picture that I'm seeing a lot on social media, is that one, and it's
I wouldn't say it's irresponsible. It looks good, but it's glamorizing that thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it didn't used to be like that. Where it wasn't in those videos in the 90s that I sent you the other day. You know, that wasn't a thing. They were just skiing powder fields, right? And it was good. And it was about the artistry of the skiing, not the toying with nature.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, playing with danger kind of thing. It was about like, this guy here is a shit hot skier, and we're looking at him skiing. We're not looking at, you know, skier X outrunning an avalanche or backflipping in front of an avalanche, right? That image.
I mean, skiing generally, the limits have gone way up, and that's a great thing. You know, skiing will keep pushing. But if you use that footage, you're only adding to the problem rather than solving the problem. So it just takes a little bit of care at the point where you're making your leaflets or your videos or your feeds, your reels, or whatever it is.
So I was on the line the other day with Tom Gelly for a thing that we were recording with him, and he was saying that for the work that he's done on his Instagram, I'm really ignorant of this, right? Because I went on Instagram at Gatwick Airport for an hour the other day, and I was I logged into it and immediately thought, what's the point of this? And turned it off, deleted my account, right? But he now has amassed so many followers that he's got a role out of it this year to go and ski in Japan. Promoting tourism, right? He's a good skier, and he's an influencer or whatever that is.
Brilliant.
And right, so, you know, bonza for him, but that would be the same thing if you're out there with your GoPro trying to film stuff on a Avalanche 4-day, trying to get footage for your Insta or whatever it is that you're trying to do, YouTube channel. You know, there is that. It's a way of making a living for some people, and so therefore you're chasing it a little bit, and that surely affects your decision making. And that decision making, so you get away with it and you come back with some amazing footage, that then gets dispersed onto the internet. Other people look at that and think, well, that's a risk that those guys have got taken and got away with it. Then I can do the same.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's a self-perpetuating cycle.
Yeah, and I think let's just inject in that moment. Okay, be careful when you look at a professional production of a ski movie.
Yeah,
there are guides, top and bottom. There's risk assessments going on. The local guides will know the history of the snowpack. They will know the pitch. You know, the skier is through that sort of selection process that they have for being a skier in films will be really good and really experienced.
Yeah.
You hope. And so there's a long way from you, teenager,
with your GoPro,
looking at YouTube in October,
suddenly
blasting it out in the mountains and getting into trouble.
Yeah.
So I think, and all of us really, just be careful of that. You know, I wouldn't want any employer, any friend, any relative to go through what we've been through now twice. The hardest part is the introspection. You know, working about how everyone blames themselves. Everyone who sees you the morning you die in an avalanche will be like, why didn't I say something to them? You know, if I'd been there, would it have? You know, everybody tears themselves apart.
Yeah.
Trying to work out what they could have done better or could have done differently. Or if I'd had that coffee with Dave, you know, he wouldn't have gone out skiing. You know what I mean? Or if I'd said that I was busy, I was rushing off to whatever. You know, just like everybody does that.
Yeah.
And it's not something that you should ever have to experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's that kind of. I guess that kind of covers it. And you know, we have a memorial for Matt on the 18th of January.
Okay.
We'll have an event here in Verbier. We've done that twice now.
That's good.
His father will come out with some friends, and we've invited Joel's family as well to attend that and combine the two into one. We can do another one for him afterwards. Yeah, it's tough, and the people in the ski resort change. A lot of them change every year.
Yeah.
So the hard thing is when everyone knows somebody who dies in an avalanche, everyone's super cautious and they stop skiing or But next year there'll be a whole load of new people who didn't know them, so it's not as personal. But
it's 100% true, isn't it? We used to have when I lived in Châtel, we used to have a memorial football match every year, France versus England, for a mate of mine, Martin, another guy who died of cancer. And eventually it got to the point where no one knew. Well, it wasn't so much no one. If I went back now and tried to resurrect that match, there'd be few people who knew who Martin was. And his widow was like kind of just wanted to move on as well, So there was a whole point of that where you're kind of clinging on to the memorial, and you thought, well, what are we doing this for actually? Yeah, because no one wanted to be part of that anymore. But it's the nature of ski towns. Yeah, so people move on. Yeah, and the population turns.
So just to confirm, if you wish to have this presentation or this talk for your organisation, your ski school, or whatever it is that you might be, please get in touch with me. My email address link is in the description. It's dave@snow-pros.ski, and obviously I will then hook you up with Julian, and you can arrange something. Anything that we can do to raise awareness of risks off-piste is very, very important to us. And so, hopefully some of the information that you have got in this podcast can help you to manage risk effectively when you're skiing off-piste. Thank you.